Hello, my name is Jimbo Ivey, and on behalf of the City of Corvallis Parks and Recreation Department, I'd like to welcome you to Majesticpiece Theater. Over the last month, we have heard the word unprecedented enough times to last us for the rest of our lives. But this situation truly is. We have canceled dozens of performances, halted creative endeavors that had been in the works for well over a year, and generally slammed the brakes on all local performance art in our country in the name of saving lives. And the sacrifice is real, in terms of dollars, in terms of hours, and in terms of the passions that have been put on hold. But we are theater folks, and so as we say, the show must go on. Even before we began canceling everything in the world, people in our community had already leapt into the Google sphere to, in the words of Jeff Goldblum, find a way. And they have, with Majesticpiece Theater. We will endeavor to bring a live stream performance to our community each week until we are able to trod the boards at the Majestic once more. For more information on how to become involved with this digital Dionysian delight, visit majestic.org or our Facebook page. During these speeches, I always say at some point that you, the patrons, the donors, the actors, the technicians, and musicians are majestic, meaning that the art that we render is born of your dedication and talent. Tonight, you will see that in perhaps its purest form with this performance of An Irish Engagement by Walter Watts, directed by Tyler Mann. The efforts of many staff and volunteers have went into tonight's performance, but I'd like to thank Rachel Kohler. She's been the driving force in this, testament to the fact that when presented with literally any problem, even a global catastrophe, theater folks will make it work. So, at this time, we please ask that you turn off all cell phones and please refrain from any flash photography of this performance. In the unlikely event of an additional emergency, please take a moment to locate the exit nearest to you. Tonight's performance is a one-act, and so we will be not having an intermission. Thank you for your support of the Majestic Theater, and we hope that you enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rachel Kohler, and tonight on Majesticpiece Theater, we will be experiencing a hilarious digital performance of a mostly forgotten but delightful farce, directed and narrated with aplomb by Tyler Mann. Walter Watts' one-act play, An Irish Engagement, was first staged at London's Marylebone Theatre in 1848. Watts himself owned the theatre in which his play premiered, a purchase he funded through shockingly brazen embezzlements from the insurance company at which he worked. Watts is, in fact, much more well known as one of the progenitors of white-collar crime than as a playwright, but he seems to have served as a theatre impresario with a real passion before being arrested in 1850. One can easily draw the connection between the clever Tim Rafferty in tonight's play as he climbs above his station to trick the wealthy in the same manner in which Watts did in his real life. Tonight's performance, brought to you from actors by all over the Willamette Valley and the world, will run 70 minutes with no intermission and, as we hope, with minimal technical hiccups. We beg your patience, however, as we all embark on this digital theater adventure together, as technology is an ever fickle mistress. We have an emergency backup actor on hand to jump into the show should technical difficulties arise, so it's possible that a character may suddenly transform before your eyes. And now, allow yourselves to be transported to England, where an unfortunate arranged marriage is about to be stymied through clever trickery and well-aimed scones.
We find ourselves in the handsome home of one Mrs. Bullfinch, a wealthy English widow. Her husband having passed on many years since, she dotes in extremity upon her only daughter Julia, watching her blossom into womanhood with a fond and imperious eye. Now is the time is now come for Julia to be wed, and this news has come as a distressing shock to the young lady in question. She sits disconsolately in the breakfast room with her maid and companion Nora, and bewails her fate as only a maiden in love may do.
Hope, Nora, there is no hope.
Ah, think, ma'am. Don't say so. Surely you're not married yet.
But soon shall be. He is expected every day, every hour, and then...
Don't have him. Pluck up a spirit. Tell him you can't love him, won't love him, and what's more, don't intend to love him. That your whole undivided heart is given to the captain, and you're determined your hand shall go with it.
But my mother will disown me if I disobey her.
She loves you too much for that, ma'am, I'm sure. How unlucky the captain is poor. But never despair. Take my word for it, you'll have him yet.
Hi-ho, poor Foxlove, all our dreams of happiness are gone forever.
Lovers' drams, oh, smoke.
Through the gently blowing lace curtains of the open window, a song wafts into the room, an old Irish tune belted out in a strong tenor.
La-di-di-di-di-di-di-di, la-di-di-di-di-di-di.
Hush! As I live, that's my Tim, my Tim! I'd know his own beautiful voice in 1,000.
Nora runs to the window and leans out the casement.
Yes, it's him. And as I live, the captain. Your mother's out, miss, so I think we might venture to let them in.
By all means, fly.
Nora scurries through the door on a flourish of cheerful skirts.
Moments like these are indeed precious. With what joy my heart bounds when he is near. I feel that with him alone I could be happy. Foxlove.
Captain Foxlove hastens into the breakfast room. He cuts the most dashing of figures as he bows gallantly to his beloved.
Oh, dearest Julia, what joy once again to see you. Say, what news of the enemy?
The worst is possible, dear Foxlove. By a letter received by my mother this morning, he is already on the road to claim me as his bride.
Oh, then we have not a moment to lose, my dear Julia. I have thought of a stratagem which, if successful, may yet save us.
A stratagem?
No, yes, love. Stratagems in love and war are equally allowable. You say that neither your mother nor yourself have yet seen your intended husband.
Nor have we. My mother and his were schoolfellows. Their friendship increased with their years. They married at the same time. Their husbands gave them one a son, the other a daughter. An agreement was then made between them that the children should wed when they came of age. That time has now arrived, and Mr. McCarthy is on his way from Ireland to claim his bride.
Should you refuse to marry him?
My mother forfeits £10,000 unless the agreement is mutual.
Oh, it must be our endeavours to make it so. So, now for my project. What think you of passing off my Irish servant, Tim Rafferty, as the expected Mr. McCarthy?
Yes, but what then?
Well, and by his behaviour try and disgust your mother with his Irish engagement.
Oh, excellent. But should the real one arrive?
Oh, leave that to the fortune of war. A forlorn hope that may end in love and happiness.
'Tis worth the trial. Oh, Cupid, assist us and crown it with success.
Let us hope for the best. Meanwhile, I'll jump into Tim's clothes so that I may be at hand to watch and guard you.
Bravo! Let us at once to action.
Oh, immediately.
Foxlove calls toward the open door.
Yeah, Tim! Tim!
Coming, sir, coming.
Oh, he is exactly suited for our purposes. A genuine Irishman, full of fun, humour, and impudence. Here, Tim, I say.
Easy, sir, easy, and I'll be with you in the twinkling of a cat's tail.
Nora's giggling can be heard from the hall.
Nora and he are sweethearts.
Oh, confound the fellow. Tim!
Finally, Tim Rafferty blusters into the room. He makes a bow to his master that manages to be at the same time both supremely respectful and exceedingly cheeky.
Here I am, your honour.
At last, sir.
Politeness beats duty, sir. The serve the ladies before all the world.
Foxglove looks as if he'd like to give his valet quite an earful, but Julia lays her delicate hand beseechingly on his elbow.
Nay, dear Foxglove, we ourselves know how hard it is to part.
Tim bows to her, this time all respect and no cheek.
Wishing a long life to you. It may be you're not a jewel of the first salt water, and it's yourself I'd like for a master, and no mistake.
Julia blushes prettily at Tim's flattery, but Foxglove brushes it aside, all business.
Yes, now, Tim, we want your assistance.
Be my faith. Sure, it's yours before you ask it.
I'm aware you're a clever, intelligent fellow, Tim.
Oh, the truest sentiment you've ever uttered.
You will then consent to what I shall name to you.
Faith, that will I. Before you name it at all.
Oh, that is enough. Farewell, dear Julia. We go at once to put our scheme into execution.
Foxglove bows to Julia with yet more graceful flourish. One senses that he feels some element of competition with the grace of Tim's bows.
Farewell, dear Foxglove. Heaven grant you success. And Tim, remember, the happiness of my future life depends on you.
Oh, your happiness. Make yourself easy, my darling. Depend on me. I'd go through fire and water for you.
Julia takes her leave of the breakfast room, heading off in search of Nora.
Oh, Tim Rafferty, your soul. Now be after showing the universe what an edification you've had. Oh, whatever your scheme is, I'm with you. And by the piper that played before Moses, if I don't teach them what an Irishman can do, may I never set eyes on old Ireland again, or obtain my own dear little Nora for life.
Tim follows his master. Julia re-enters the breakfast room. She sits back down at the table, but she is too distracted to return to her breakfast.
Oh, pray heaven we may succeed. My heart is again filled with hope, with love and hope. Who should despair? Now to play my part. Oh, love, to what wild schemes do you drive your votaries?
Nora bustles in with a dimple-cheeked excitement.
Oh, mistress, there's my Tim a-going to transmogrify himself. He says I'll not know him a bit, that he'll make as elegant a gentleman as ever eat buttermilk with a fork or potatoes with a spoon.
Yes, Nora, to serve me.
Oh, what a trembling I'm in, supposing it's found out who he is.
'Tis merely a harmless scheme after all.
And what will I do if he never comes back to his own elegant self again?
Why then, Nora, you'll have a gentleman for a sweetheart.
A gentleman? And is it the likes of me that would like to have a gentleman for a sweetheart?
And why not, Nora?
Because it's not their manners I like at all, with their fine curled-up mustaches and whiskers, dandy-cut coats, polished boots, and delicate hands. It's too much trouble for the likes of them to make love properly. And tell a girl what a beauty she is. I wouldn't give a brass sixpence for such a man, no. Give me one of my own darling boys, without a brogue to his foot or a cabine.
Bing, bing, bing. Footnote. A cabine is an Irish beret formerly worn by peasants. It has been adopted as the headdress of Irish regiments all over the Commonwealth armies.
To his head, but with a simple, honest heart and a good shillelagh.
Bing, bing. Footnote. A shillelagh is a cudgel made of hard wood, usually oak or blackthorn.
One that makes love like an angel and fights for you like a lion.
Nora, you're eloquent.
And isn't it in a good cause, Miss Macree? Oh, if you'd only had the luck to fall in love with an Irishman, with one of the darling boys of Tipperary. They're the jewels to lay hold of a poor girl's affections and kick up a rebellion in her heart. They twist and they turn, wheedle, flatter and kiss, until they so bewilder a poor girl that it's glad she is to say, "Paddy, you devil, take me at once and make an honest woman of me." Oh, but here comes your mother, miss. I'll be off and prepare for the scrimmage. What a frustration I'm in. Oh, this love. It bothers all creation entirely, and us poor servants into the bargain.
Nora flitters out of the room, bird-like in her frustration, as Mrs. Bullfinch sails into the chamber as the haughtiest of battleships.
Well, my dear Julia, all's ready. Everything is prepared to give a right hearty welcome. A welcome and worthy the blood of the Bullfinches, to the son of my old friend and your intended husband.
But my dear mother, I really cannot bear the idea of marrying a man who I have never seen.
But you'll see him before you do, I suppose. And here, listen to what his mother says of him. By the blood of the Bullfinches, it makes my heart happy to read it. My dear son, who has been brought up and educated in England, is a quiet, amiable, good-tempered, fascinating young man, possessing all the qualities necessary for making a good husband. And I think I may venture to say, worthy of your lovely daughter. There, what would you have more than that?
I would have one, madam, on whom I can bestow my heart.
Then bestow it on him. By the blood of the Bullfinches, this girl is unreasonable.
Not so. The whole study of my life has hitherto been to please you. But on such an occasion as this, in which the happiness of my future life is concerned, I do hope you will allow me those little privileges to which my sex are entitled.
You are a good girl, Julia. A very good girl. But I have promised you, and by the blood of the Bullfinches, I cannot break it. So make up your mind to like the nice gentleman, which I'm sure you will if he resembles my friend at all.
I'll do my best to please you, madam.
That I'm sure you will.
There is a distant knocking at the front door.
Down, Sheba! Down, Sheba! You remember what happened last time. Hello? Who's there?
Mrs. Bullfinch crosses to the window and twitches aside the lace curtains a merest inch to peek out at the porch below.
As I live, a young man and a servant. It must be he. By the blood of the Bullfinches, it is. How I long to embrace you.
'Tis the captain and Tim, so I'll away and prepare for my part in the scheme.
Julia hurries off before her mother can speak any further to the merits of Julia's betrothed.
Now, Julia, what? Gone? The little rogue's gone off to put herself in apple pie order. How young ladies love to have everything comme il faut.
Bing bing! Footnote! Comme il faut is French for correct or behavior or etiquette.
Now then, for my future son-in-law.
Enter Tim Rafferty, ridiculously dressed in a brightly colored outfit that features copious fountains of ruffles, followed by Captain Foxlove, dressed more modestly as his servant. Tim enters singing St. Patrick was a gentleman.
St. Patrick was a gentleman, he came from days and papal. In Dublin town he built a church and on it put a steeple. Oh.
I presume I have the pleasure of seeing Mr. McCarthy.
And it's right you are, for once in your life. Oh, as the man said when St. Paul's clock struck 13, I presume you're old Bullfinch.
At your service. Very happy to see you, sir. By the blood of the Bullfinches, you are right welcome.
tips up your fist, me tulip, and it's myself that's glad to see you, oh gentlewoman, and may live to know each other till that we die and ever so long afterward.
Instead of the expected polite and respectful bow with which one properly greets a lady, Tim lunges forward and squeezes Mrs. Bullfinch's hand in a handshake of mighty proportions until the poor widow fairly dances about with pain.
Oh, my dear sir, really, your shake is very cordial. By the blood of the Bullfinches, my hand is almost off. But allow me to ask, how is your worthy mother?
Oh, by my soul, she's in mighty good health, in as fine a state of preservation as any old gentlewoman can expect to be. She's been dead all these 20 years.
You bring me letters from her, I suppose?
I'd be troubled to do that. Oh, and is it letters, madam? By the powers, when I set out, you wouldn't have known me from Dennis O'Daughtry, the postman. But you see, madam, I had an idea.
A good one, I've no doubt.
And it's right you are then, for when I looked at the bundle of letters, what's the use, says I to myself, of carrying you across the sea? Devilish words, said they, so I took the liberty of opening the dirty blackguards. So it's by word of mouth you'll be getting all the news of my respectable old mother, and by the powers of Mullikelly, my idea beats the penny postage, both in cheapness and convenience.
Rather an offhand way, I must say. Well, letters or no letters, you are welcome.
And ain't I after knowing I am, so I'll be making myself as much at home as Paddy that took his meals and slept in the drawing room. Here, John, you rascal.
Captain Foxlove comes forward.
Be after getting my room ready. Learn the way of the house. Take pattern by me. Make yourself easy and comfortable. Kiss the cook. Unbosom yourself to the housemaid, and show them how we do it in old Ireland, you rascal.
Yes, sir. A pretty berth I've got into.
Mrs. Bullfinch is staring at Tim with barely disguised horror.
A quiet, unassuming young man? My, what different eyes mothers see with.
Now, old gentlewoman, where's this lovely intended of mine? Och, I'm in a favour of love.
I'll go fetch her immediately. Oh dear, I'm afraid this boisterous fellow just won't suit her at all.
Mrs. Bullfinch busses off to find her daughter. As soon as she is safely out of earshot, Foxlove bursts out laughing and slaps Tim on the back.
Oh, capital, Tim, capital. Oh, do but continue, and I've no doubt she will soon have had enough of her Irish engagement.
Oh, never fair, Captain, never fair. Leave me alone for serving her out. I'll be giving her a touch of the schoolmaster of Ballywapham, who flogged his scholars before breakfast to give 'em the appetite for dinner.
Do your best. If you succeed, you know your reward.
Oh, £20.
Footnote: £20 was about a year's wages at this time.
And Nora for life. If woman and money won't make a man do his best, by my faith, I should say he's good for nothing at all, at all.
I don't think she'll find us out.
Oh, silence, my dear master. Here they are.
Mrs. Bullfinch returns, leading Julia, who curtsies prettily.
Allow me, sir, to introduce my daughter. Julia, Mr. McCarthy. Mr. McCarthy, Miss Bullfinch.
Now it's myself that's mighty proud and happy to see you, my darling. By the powers, you're a rose with the colour of a tulip.
Oh, really? Mr. McCarthy?
Oh, I know what you'd be after saying, my darling, but I'll be stopping it, and there's only one way of stopping a woman's mouth. So, by your leave, I'll be stealing a kiss.
Tim swoops towards Julia, his lips puckered for a kiss, but Foxlove grabs his ruffled coat, and Tim jerks to a stop.
Be quiet! How dare you, sir?
John, be easy. What's come over you? Won't I be salute my wife that is to be, for the honour of old Ireland?
Oh, at your peril, sir.
Foxglove very firmly yanks Tim back to stand next to him.
I must do it. It's natural. My sweetheart, me darling, it's a beauty you are, and by no mistake. By this and by that, my heart's like a red-hot potato with the skin on. Oh, and it's on myself that I'll live till I die, and then never leave you.
Tim manages to tear his coat out of Foxglove's hand and makes it across the room to Julia. He bends down for a kiss. Julia flails her arms in distress, and Mrs. Bullfinch lets out a shocked and strangled yelp.
Oh, this is a quiet, modest young man. By the blood of the Bullfinches, he's a perfect devil.
Oh, confound the fellow. He shall answer for this liberty.
Finally, Tim breaks off the kiss. Julia staggers back, gasping for breath. She scrubs her lips with the back of her hand and glares daggers at Tim, who is entirely unrepentant.
By my soul, it's as reviving as the old gentleman's elixir that made everybody young again. Therefore, as the doctors say, the dose to be repeated immediately.
He leaps forward and kisses poor Julia once again. This time, she manages to wriggle out of his grasp as Foxglove grabs Tim's shoulder and hauls him back.
I'll stand this no longer. I'll have no more of this, sir.
What do you mean, you dirty rascal? Do you forget who I am? Leave the room, sir.
Tim points imperiously to the door. Foxglove is entirely taken aback. He looks as if he is about to explode at Tim's presumption, but remembers the act.
What do you mean, sir?
And is it the meaning you wish to know? Is it myself or you that is the master? Get out with you, and leave the room, be off.
Tim pushes Captain Foxglove out of the room. Julia runs after him.
Oh, the impertinent rascal.
He certainly presumes.
Oh, presumes do you call it? By my faith, I call it impudence. The impudence of servants is wonderful. They taunt their masters hollow in that. What, my little jewel is off too? By my faith, if all the bullfinches are like her, it's elegant birds they are.
I fear she won't say as much about you. I'm glad you like her, sir. She is indeed a charming creature.
Oh, a perfect angel in petticoats. And by her fortune, how much do you mean to tip up with her?
Rather indelicate question. On her marriage, I intend to give her £10,000.
10,000? And is it only a dirty 10,000 you'll be given? Sell myself for £10,000. Why, we'd be worse off than Paddy O'Flanagan, who kept a wife and 10 children on 6 potatoes a day. Would you be starving us, you old vagabond?
Starve? Vagabond? By the blood of the Bullfinches, what do you mean?
What I say! And now I'll be telling you how I mean to live. And then say if a paltry 10,000 will be doing it.
Let me hear what you intend to do. By the blood of the Bullfinches, I never was so treated.
Listen then first. I'll be taking the largest house in town. Servants shall be as plentiful as mushrooms. I'll have valets, footmen, coachmen, grooms, butlers, ladies' maids, chambers' maids, dairies' maids, housemaids, cooks, and in a very short time it's a nursery maid I'll be wanting likewise. Then I'll be having coaches, cabs, four-in-hands, and an elegant jaunting car. Whisk, dash along. I shall keep up with everything, but nothing shall keep up with me. There goes a decent boy, says one. A dear little devil, says the ladies. Hurrah, my darling, and you may say that, says I. He's a beauty, says another. Hurrah for the wild Irishman! Whoop! Tipperary forever! Whoa, you devil! My blood's up! Oh.
Tim leaps up on the breakfast table, scattering tea, cups, saucers, and leftover breakfast everywhere. At least one saucer breaks with terrific smash. He strikes what he imagines to be a noble pose. Mrs. Bullfinch is frozen in shock.
But, my dear sir...
Hazy, madam, hazy. Then my parties. Oh, what elegant parties I'll be having. Wine and whiskey, punch galore. The largest ball in all Ireland, nothing to it. Then lords and ladies, knights and baronites. Lovely women, enchanting music, dancing. Oh, won't I be having a beautiful jig? Oh.
Tim demonstrates his beautiful jig on the table. If anything remained on its surface, it flies everywhere now. Tea, scones, teapot, all crash onto the floor in a perfect racket. The teapot splashes onto Mrs. Bullfinch's voluminous skirts, and she lets out a little scream of rage and amazement.
Oh!
I'll astonish the weak minds of the dirty world. And how can I be doing this on a paltry 10,000? Oh, by my faith, you must multiply the sum by 10.
I'll do no such thing. By the blood of the Bullfinches, I'll not give 1 penny more.
Say that again.
I repeat it.
You do?
I do. By the blood of the Bullfinches.
Tim leaps off of the table, almost colliding with Mrs. Bullfinch, who jumps back in alarm.
Oh, then by the blood of the McCartys, I'll make the Bullfinches pipe to a beautiful tune. My blood's up, a dirty 10,000, you rascal. Come on, I'll pepper you, I'll fight you for the honour of old Ireland. Come on, my old cockchafanch.
Tim puts up his fists, ready to fight. Mrs. Bullfinch gapes at him in a disbelieving horror. Tim realizes that it would be most unsporting and ungentlemanly to engage in fisticuffs with a reverend widow, so he settles for reaching down to the floor for some of the scattered scones and flinging them at Mrs. Bullfinch. She runs about the room, attempting to dodge the flying pastries. But Tim turns out to be quite a dab hand at tossing scones with startling accuracy.
Help! Murder! Help!
Foxlove and Julia race in just as a scone hits Mrs. Bullfinch full on in the face. She is covered head to toe in crumbs. Tim guiltily hides the last scone behind his back.
Dear mother, what is the matter?
That madman was about to murder me.
Murder! That's what she says. I murder her. I'd had a pretty fight with her as ever was seen at Donnybrook. And all for the sake of friendship, if you hadn't come in to spoil sport.
By the blood of the Bullfinches, I don't require such striking proofs of your friendship. Oh, that I ever would have such a son-in-law!
And that is the man on whom I am to bestow my heart? How is it possible?
I have been an old fool. I know I have. But what is to be done? Let us give him further trial. I must, however, retire and compose myself. By the blood of the Bullfinches, I have never been so ruffled in years. I leave you, sir, for the present.
Tim hands her the final scone. She takes it in a daze. Tim bows to her, gallant as ever.
Enjoy go with you, Mid-Daisy.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Quiet, unassuming, gentle?
Julia gently ushers her creme-coated mother out of the room.
Hurroo, hurroo! There's a dose for the old gentlewoman. I feel me 20 sovereigns kicking each other already in me pocket.
But you carry it a little too far, sir. What occasion was there for you to take the liberty of kissing the lady?
Mustn't I be doing the thing natural, sir? Could I be a lover and not salute my wife? Such a thing was never heard in old Ireland. Now, I'll tell you what it is, sir. Just be after getting Nora a dozen or so, and then it's quits we'll be crying. So say no more about it. All goes on right, and before night, it's 500 she'll be glad to give you and to get rid of me.
Be more discreet for the future.
Julia re-enters the room. Foxglove turns to her and kisses her hand with a flourish.
Oh, my dear Julia.
My mother has retired to her room to obtain a short repose, but I was alarmed by a knocking at the gate.
Nora rushes in, flustered in great haste.
Oh, Tim, ma'am, sir, my heart's as big as a whale, and my head's as full of blubber. It's all over.
Is it over, you mean? I wish it was, and the 20 pounds in me pocket and you in me arms. What's over me, darling?
Oh, Tim, he's calm.
Who?
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 The real Mr. McCarthy. Bad luck to him. He's this moment arrived.
Oh, botheration! Bad luck to him. The dirty-faced vagabond. And how will I be getting out of the bog now?
Oh, we're lost. Has there ever been anything so unfortunate?
Oh, is there no hope? No way of getting rid of him?
I have it. Leave it to me. And it's the battle I'll win yet. Follow me, and I'll just explaining it to you. And Nora, do your first turnkey on the old gentlewoman, and then be showing the young one up here. Away with you, me darling.
Nora hurries out.
Will I be giving up 20 pounds so easy? No. I'll be giving him a touch of old Irish cunning. So follow me.
He exits the room, followed by Julia and Foxglove. After a moment, Nora returns to the breakfast room, showing in Mr. McCarthy. She bobs a little curtsy.
Be kind enough to wait here, sir, while I announce your arrival to the family.
She leaves Mr. McCarthy alone. He surveys the scone and tea-stained war zone with confusion before brushing the shards of a saucer from one of the chairs and sitting down.
Here I am at last, in the house of my mother's old friend, in the character of a suitor to her daughter, who I have never seen. But if she ever so beautiful, I can never love her. My heart is already given to another, so I must manage to break off the match as easily as possible, so as not to exasperate either of the old gentlewomen, or be the death of the lady, who luckily can't care a straw about a person she never set eyes on. Who have we here?
Tim saunters into the breakfast room. Mr. McCarthy rises to greet him.
Oh, now I must play the part of the gentleman. Your servant, sir. I presume you are Mr. McCarthy. That's just what was said to me.
At your service, sir. May I ask who I had the pleasure of addressing?
Oh, my mother was called Fitzpatrick, and she always said that I was her son. Very much at your service. We've been expecting you a devil of a time.
My mother, I believe, announced my intention of coming some time ago. May I inquire for Mrs. Bullfinch?
Oh, poor old gentlewoman.
I trust there is nothing the matter with her. No sudden illness.
Oh, poor old lady. And it's pitied she's to be. All the world over. But it's in the family.
In the family? My dear sir, pray explain.
Then you haven't heard?
About what?
The old gentlewoman. Poor lady.
Oh, not a word. Since her last letter to my mother.
Then it slipped her memory to write it and tell you, I suppose. It's my painful duty to inform you. She's wrong. Here.
Tim taps his forehead with a significant look.
What do you mean? Is she ill?
In the mind, but not in the body. In fact, sir, it's apartments she's got in to let in the upper story.
I really don't understand you, sir. In plain language, what is her complaint?
Then, in plain language, sir, she's mad, she is.
Mad?
As Dennis O'Flaherty, who hung himself behind the street door instead of his great coat. Oh, her head's as light as a potato peel, and it's myself that's her keeper.
Good heaven! What a misfortune! When did this happen?
I couldn't take upon myself to say, saying I don't know be after knowing.
Is she raving?
Raving it is. She's as quiet and as hazy as a suckling pig at nap time. But there's no reasoning with her once she's taken a thing into her head. Oh, what do you think she's got in her head now?
I really can have no idea.
Why, it's myself she has for yourself, and McCarthy she always calls me. Now that's strange.
Very.
You may say that. So, when she sees you, she'll declare you're not yourself.
Then what am I to do?
Oh, just be after having her let her own way, and it's all right. But contradict her and, she's off like a skyrocket, and there's a system to her madness. Take my word for it.
I'll take great care. Do you have any idea the cause of it? What brought it on?
Is it the cause you'd know? Then, between ourselves, this is confidential and private, so mind, don't tell anybody you don't want to know it.
Of course. You may trust me.
Thin, by my soul, sir, between you and myself, oh, it's in the family.
You don't say so. Her daughter?
Oh, the creature. I wouldn't be given a brass farthing for all the brains she's got. And it's worse with that than the old gentlewoman she'll be before long. And it's myself that knows nothing about it.
What a misfortune. What an escape I've had. How is she affected?
Her reasoning's like the man who went up in the balloon for fishing for stars. Oh, rather too high-minded. Sometimes off she goes, whisk, pop! Oh, botheration! You never saw such a she-devil.
The sooner I'm out of this, the better. Mann is in the family. I wouldn't have her with 50,000.
Oh, by the piper of war, here she is. Now, sir, it's yourself will say with your own eyes.
This would be a good excuse for my decline in my match. Not for my bride that it was to be.
Enter Julia, fantastically dressed in a variety of clashing colors. Her petticoats show under her skirt, and she is wearing mismatched shoes.
Permit me to introduce you to Mr. McCarthy from the sweetest little town of Tamabara. Oh, give it to him, miss. It's yourself you must fight your own battle now, while I go stir up the old gentlewoman. Whoop! Won't I make her roar?
Tim bows and leaves the room. Julia smiles at Mr. McCarthy. It is a terrifying smile, more teeth than smile. Mr. McCarthy bows tentatively.
Mr. McCarthy, how delighted I am to see you. I have read of you, thought of you, dreamt of you, and now to gaze upon you, oh, 'tis heavenly.
This is rather an awkward situation. My dear madam, I'm delighted to see you.
Mr. McCarthy offers Julia his chair. She sits in it sideways. He pulls out another chair and finds a scone sitting on it. He is unsure of what to do with the scone. He looks this way and that and finally settles on laying it carefully in the middle of the bedraggled breakfast table. He brushes the crumbs from the seat of the chair as best he can and sits.
I am in a galaxy of delight. When, like an infant, I toddled from my mother's arms, I heard thy name blended with my own future fate. Our names were woven with a wreath of roses I treasured up all in my heart. There thine image has lain slumbering. In murmuring brooks I've pictured thee. On starlit nights were wafted onto thee, and now, like a bright luminary, you burst into my sight and dazzle me with thy luster.
Mad, without a doubt. My dear madam, I regret to hear about your mother.
My mother? She's a saint, an angel. Angels watch around her pillow. She was my guardian angel until you came to take me from her.
Heaven forbid! I would not for the world deprive her of so great a treasure.
Oh, but now you're come to take me to your bosom, and there with wild delight do I throw myself into your arms, mad with supreme bliss.
She pounces on him and ends up sitting in his lap.
But my dear madam, upon my word, I really...
Hush. Now we are in a garden of paradise where universal happiness reigns. No misery is there, for all is love and pleasure. Oh, I feel the balmy incense of love stealing through the air, and you, like an angel, are watching me. Never part from me.
I only wish I could. No, never.
Always love me, tend me with jealous care.
Yes, always. Anything to get rid of her.
Never smile on others more fair and lovely.
Never, I assure you.
Swear to be true to me forever.
Really, my dear madam.
Swear! Oh, the demon of jealousy will possess me, and I shall tear you into little stars. Swear!
She's raving. I swear.
Oh. Then here I'll rest forever.
She drops the scone, jumps back onto his lap, and lays her head on his shoulder.
Upon my life, this is pleasant. How shall I get rid of her? An interesting situation. Will you lead me to your mother?
Here will I slumber. Oh! What's that? 'Tis a demon. A vampire. He comes to devour me. See, 'tis there. Oh.
She clings to Mr. McCarthy in fear, so tightly that she seems likely to strangle him.
Oh, save me. Let me away, love, let us away into the realms of bliss. Oh, here he comes again. Away.
She staggers back from Mr. McCarthy, waving her arms to fend off some invisible assailant, then flees the room.
Thank heaven, she's gone at last. I breathe freely again. Poor creature, she's raving. The sooner I get out of this, the better. This will free me, and I can now wed my own Kathleen without further opposition from my mother.
Tim returns to the breakfast room, trying not to laugh.
Oh, botheration! And I'll die of laughing. Haven't I risen the blood of the bullfinch? Peppered her head with flour, box. There'll not be a rumpus at all. Oh, get out of the way, sir, for here comes the old gentlewoman in one of her fits, as wild as O'Brien's cows, that went mad because she couldn't eat her own tail.
Then I'll be off. I've had quite enough of one of the family.
Oh, and is it yourself that will be running away? Here, just pop into this snuggery. Oh, and there you'll be saying what an old devil it is.
Tim holds open the door to a fine old cupboard, mostly empty, but with some folded table linens on an upper shelf.
Thank you. It will be as well to see her, or my mother will not be satisfied.
Mr. McCarthy crouches into the cupboard, and Tim gently closes the door on him.
Now then, for the finisher. If this don't put everything as it ought to be, why, I'll be hanging for murder. Oh, as the man said when he cut his own throat. Here she is.
He whispers loudly to Mr. McCarthy through the cupboard door.
Now, sir, keep quiet.
Mrs. Bullfinch can be heard out in the hallway.
Where is the villain? Where is he?
Oh. You hear her, sir? Keep quiet, or she'll be murdering you.
Enter Miss Bullfinch, her hair disheveled, covered with flour, her clothes in extreme disorder.
You rascal! You villain! How dare you! How dare you use me so! By the blood of the bullfinches, you'll pay for this. I'll not put up with it. I'll not endure it.
Easy then. Easy with the hay, honey, or you'll be putting yourself in as great a perspiration as a ball of snow in the dog days.
What is the meaning of this? Look at me. Here's a figure.
You may say that, and it's yourself that would be looking mighty well in an exhibition. Oh, just take a peep at her, sir.
Mr. McCarthy opens the door just a hair and peers out to Mrs. Bullfinch through the crack.
Good heavens! Poor creature!
Oh,
By the blood of the bullfinches, you'll drive me mad, but I'll not endure it. So let me tell you, Mr. McCarthy,
you hear what she calls me?
although I have great respect for your mother, I'll not put up with such treatment from her son. So get out of my house, sir.
Now be easy with you.
I say again, get out of my house. By the blood of the bullfinches, I'll no longer bear your presence. So get out of my house, sir.
Then it's yourself that will be off directly. Be quiet with you. Oh, whilst I speak to you. Oh, be after listening to me. They say you're mad.
I'm mad. I'm mad. By the blood of the bullfinches.
Stuck, staring, raving mad, and they've sent for your caper to keep you quiet.
A keeper. For me? Foo, nonsense. You're insane.
Is it persuading you I am? Oh, why, you ought to know you're mad. As mad as the Dublin hatter who wore the napless.
I went I'm not, by the blood of the bullfinches.
I can see in the twinkling of your eye. Oh, it's mad you are, and no mistake.
I'll not endure this any longer.
She calls out into the hallway.
Here, John.
Be quiet, would ya? Oh, you'll not believe you're mad.
No, I'm damned if I do.
Then it's a secret I'll be telling you. The caper, he's here to take you. The big blackguard's in the cupboard. Now for a row.
In the cupboard. I'll soon have the scoundrel out. Come out, you villain, come out!
Mrs. Bullfinch storms to the cupboard and throws open the door, revealing the terrified Mr. McCarthy. She grabs him by the arm, holds him out, and gives him a good hard shake.
You tell people they're mad? Look at me. Sir, tell me to my face. Am I mad, sir? Am I mad?
Really, madam? I'm not...
Answer me, sir. Am I mad?
Remember what I told you.
Not to contradict her. Then, madam, if you wish it, I should say, most decidedly mad.
I am mad. Oh, you villain. This is the way innocent people are destroyed. It's worse than a Birking. I am mad. By the blood of the bullfinches, I think I am.
Easy, madam, easy. Don't be after flustering yourself. Take it coolly, as the boy did when he fell through the ice.
I'm too easy. Get out of my house, both of you, or I'll kick you out.
Madam, my name's McCarthy.
Who's the madman? I should like to know. Who's McCarthy?
I came hither to see and marry your daughter, but I trust you won't be offended if I say I must decline that honor after what I've seen.
decline. I like that. You decline. I wish you'd be off.
All's going on as smooth as it's the say in a calm. Oh, conclude the interview as soon as possible, for it's mighty big fit I see coming on.
Here, madam, is an agreement I have drawn up, by which I voluntarily resign the lady, and thus releasing you from the forfeiture.
And I'll be squinting at it. Oh, wishing a long life to you. The very thing. Oh, £20 and Nora for life.
Tim exits the room, agreement in hand, almost skipping in his glee.
Here, madam, is a letter from my mother. And I now, madam, take my leave, trusting that before long yourself and daughter will be perfectly restored.
Stop. What's all this? My old friend's writing. My dear son, the bearer of this, signed Denise McCarthy? Here's some mistake. You can't be Mr. McCarthy.
No other has a right to that title, I can assure you.
By the blood of the bullfinches. Then who is that person that just left us? Mr. McCarthy. He's Mr. McCarthy.
I only know him as your keeper. By name, Fitzpatrick.
My keeper.
Yes, madam. He's informed me that both yourself and your daughter were mad.
Mad. I only wonder I'm not. Damn, I think I am. I'm bewildered. First one McCarthy, now another. What is he? Who is he? Where is he?
Captain Foxglove, Julia, and Tim enter the room together. They are all dressed once again as befits their respective stations. Tim bows.
Here, my jewel, Tim Rafferty, at your honour's service.
By the blood of the bullfinches, will nobody explain?
Permit me, madam. You had promised your daughter, whom I loved, to another, under a forfeit of £10,000, to obtain your release, from which we assumed the various disguises you've seen, and now I hold it in hand.
He triumphantly holds forth the signed agreement.
And I hold mine in mine, as good a looking at £20 note as I ever seen, clapped eyes on.
By the blood of the bullfinches, do I hear right?
Yes, dear mother. I could not give my hand without my heart. We have saved you a large sum of money, and from the misery of knowing you had rendered an only daughter wretched.
Then who the devil are you?
Captain Foxglove, of the Dragoons, and this is my servant. I trust, madam, you will forgive everything and make your daughter happy?
If you don't, I'll be powdering your wig again, and this time I'll be doing it with a shillelagh.
This is all very fine. But was this Mr. McCarthy?
That I am happy to find you really a reasonable being, my hand and heart a promise to another. So allow me, one of the parties deceived, to add my entreaties for their forgiveness.
Oh, my dear, my jewel, say the word, and it's myself that will serve you for 100 years, and then bury you comfortably. So just be after making us all happy, and yourself into the bargain.
Well, I suppose I must. Take her, Captain Foxglove. The deceitful little hussy has played her part so well, there's no refusing her.
Tim leans out the doorway into the hallway.
Here, Nora! Nora!
Nora races into the room.
Now, your honour, it's flattering myself I am, that I've played my part so well, that you'll bestow on me your servant Nora here, for it's ourselves that are anxious to follow the captain's example and increase the family.
You're welcome to her. And by the blood of the bullfinches, I'll give away the bride.
Your honour's a trump to the backbone, and therefore I promise you that it's yourself shall stand godmother to the first boy or girl. And now we are all pleased. Hurrah! Oh, I'm like a horse that ran so fast you couldn't see him. How do I know my friends are pleased? Allow me to just ask. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, are you pleased? If you are, just be putting your hands together for our Irish engagement.
Bing! The blood of the bullfinches, the end.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for viewing in and watching our production of An Irish Engagement. I am so thankful that I was able to do this. It's my first directing gig. So hopefully you'll see me soon actually directing a main stage show at the Majestic Theater sometime after this whole craziness that is COVID-19 comes back. So I want to thank Miss Diane Slam, who was our Mrs. Bullfinch. Amazing job, thank you. Mr. McCarthy was played by Pat Leithram. Great job. Our Captain Foxlove was Nikolai Kasikin. Hope I said that right. Our Tim Rafferty was Colby Montague. Our Julia Bullfinch, Sarah One, coming all the way from Shanghai.
Yay.
Yay.
Our Nora was Anne Hubble. And our amazing, extraordinary emergency backup actor, who so kindly was here for us and wasn't actually needed, which is great. Brendan Yuri, thank you very much. And now...
And a wonderful asterisk.
Oh yes, I forgot! A footnote.
Footnote.
Played by the amazing Rachel Kohler.
Yay!
Thank you very much, and happy hunting.
For attending our second performance of Majesticpiece Theater. Please join us next weekend on Saturday, April 18th at 7:30 Pacific Standard Time for Treasure Island. Bye, everyone.